How large in the psyche of Danes does Greenland loom? Do they ever go there? Do they think about it in terms of economics or national security? How present is that in their minds?
It's this is how I think about it, and this is how I think Americans should think about it. It's an extraordinarily important part of the kingdom, and it's obviously they have hundreds of years of a relationship which is fraught. Don't let me oversimplify it. It's a fraught kind of colonial relationship between Denmark, between Copenhagen and Nuuk, between the Denmark proper, European Denmark, and Greenland. That being said, I think geopolitically, it's an incredibly important part of the kingdom. And over the course of decades, really, going back hundreds of years, but really more importantly, since the end of World War II, it has established itself as a slightly sort of independent entity. It's kind of a combination. The way I describe Greenland in the kingdom, it's kind of a combination of a U.S. territory and actually a U.S. state, because they do have official representation in Copenhagen as well. Like they have elected officials that serve in the Danish parliament, for example. So it's a complicated relationship. It absolutely is. There's been an aggressive kind of independence movement in Greenland, similar to what you've seen in sort of Quebec and Catalonia and whatnot. So it's important, and I do think a lot of the issues that make Donald Trump interested in it are the reasons why, in many ways, it's very, very important to the kingdom.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's an Arctic nation. There's a military piece of this. There's an economic piece of this. There's just sort of a geostrategic piece of this. There's a countering Western adversaries piece of this. So all of it makes it actually a critically important part of the kingdom. And I will say this too, even
Yeah.
though the relationship between Copenhagen and Nuuk is fraught, the royal family, what's actually interesting, the royal family, you may have seen this, the new king, the new king of Denmark, actually just edited the sort of, he was coronated last year, and actually put Denmark sort of front and center in the new royal seal of the kingdom of Denmark, sort of letting folks know how important Greenland is to the
Right.
kingdom. That's real.